Are you ready? Cause I am most definitely not. Um, ton of work, this week. Uh, some interesting research, and yes. I'm gonna do a project with that soon. So usually it's the other way around, right? Usually I know pretty well what's next in my work, so I can use the stream to prepare, to try out weird stuff, experiment, learn new things, and then when I need it in the job, it's like, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, like 3 streams, but I get a head start. But this time things changed so fast that it was like, bam, Monday morning, oh, now you're doing this, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. So lots of banging my head against the wall because the documentation was like tons of documentation for the API I'm using, but very unstructured and very, where is the stuff I actually need? Plus Unity jumping into the mix, and yeah, not helpful. But today, Thursday, fish stream, that little one here. Um, and you see, well, you don't see, but I Raspberry Pi still broken. The new one should have been in the mail, but it isn't, so no stream overlay. Sorry about that. We're trying to work around that. So I just added this text box to the actual game. I mean, it's not doing anything, and you can actually play behind it. Um, that's maybe there's something in that, but it's just so we have something, so you know what's going on, right? So, but all of that is in a different scene, right? So we switch to our main scene again, and maybe I should have favorited that, right? Which doesn't have any of that in it, and it's just working. Unfortunately, the domain where I uploaded the preview of the WebGL version still is in transfer. Takes between 30 minutes and 10 days, and maybe it's taking 10 days this time. So, shall we get this show on the road? Well, yeah, it already is, right? I'm not sure why I can't preview the stream anymore in Safari. So I'm gonna do one thing real quick, and I'm sorry about this. I am sorry about this, but I'm gonna do this. Put this here. Put this here. Put this back here. Put this here. Yep. Let's see. I want to see what you're seeing, right? So I need a preview stream somewhere. Can you mute this tab, please? Mute side. I want to mute the tab, not the side, but holiday here in Germany today, so I got a lot of stuff done, including checking the couch for spots that are not that comfy. We are still redoing Fiiish in Unity and Godot, and after a ton of time spent in Unity, literally we switched back to Godot this week and 2 days ago, and we got the pickups working, and that makes me happy. So let's continue with the pickups today, because I'm actually looking forward to the in-game hunt. The death and restart, I think we're handling that. That flow could use a bit of cleanup, but it's working. So why touch it if it's working, right? What could go wrong? I mean, and it's freezing here, and my landlord is refusing to put the heating on. Let's see AC. Wouldn't that be nice to have heating in the middle of the winter instead of freezing my tiny little behind off? It's not that tiny at the moment. I need more exercise. Okay, last time, right? We added, and I'm actually gonna zoom out because it's easier to see. We added the coins. Well, the coins were there, but we made the coins collectible. We added the magnet and the green and blue coin, and we actually added the functionality of the magnet, right? But the green and blue coin do nothing right now. Where's the blue coin, right? There's a blue coin and a magnet. Oh, blue coin and magnet is nice. So let's add the blue coin and the magnet actually today. I'm at the point where I play the game too much. Oh, as soon as the background is moving, right? This will look amazing. Imagine the background slowly. We need to do the background. Folks, we need to do the background, but game first. Game first. At least let's do the coin stuff, right? Oh, it's so much fun. I want to do the hut. Oh, we died. Good that we died, right? So, coins. So we have the game, right? Let's go in there. And we have the game manager, right? Still used to Godot. And we have the different effects on the different obstacle type, on the different pickup types, right? So on the coin explosion, we have the explosion effect, and on the rain, we have the rain effect, and obviously on the magnet, we have the magnet effect, right? Maybe a magnet should not have a coin value of 1, right? So let's double check that real quick. So we have the coin. The coin has no effect and a coin value of. Let's make that explicitly none, right? Just, it's a default, but it's nicer. So coin explosion doesn't have a coin value. And the coin rain also doesn't have. No. Here I have to double click. Also has a 0, right? And then here we are in the process pickups, and we did the magnet boost. Was there anything else we were missing? We were basically stealing from the. There was nothing here, right? But we need to do the spawn. Do we? Let's do the rain first, right? And we'll do it exactly like here. We have a coin duration, and we have coin rain duration, and we have a coin rain per second, right? So in the game manager, I wish I could. How do I disable this minimap? It's just, it's freaking me out. It's tempting me to make this nicely aligned, which wouldn't be productive right now, right? We're gonna do a cleanup anyway at some point. So what if we had a var coin rain duration float that is 0. This semicolon here is surely not needed. I wonder why it didn't complain. And then we had a coin rain per second, right? Coin rain per second. It probably should be coins per second, right? So var coin rain coins per second. Right, that is a float, and that is 0.0, and let's be precise here, right? And that's what we trigger. We still have that overflow, and probably we should put that into a special. I want Command P to jump to. So if we have a pickup effect, right, of type rain, then we just for symmetry, we increase the coin rain duration by 3 seconds, right? So if you collect multiple, it just lasts longer. And we say coin rain coins per second is 30, right? That's all. We just say, hey, make some coins. And then we obviously need to do something with that, which is down here, right? And I'm just going to steal the whole bloody thing because we want the same behavior, right? So if at the end of this we have a coin rain duration, right? If we have a coin rain duration which is larger than 0, and it's not braces, I don't know why it's not braces. Then we get the smaller one. Then we get the smaller one of the, of the delta time and the coin rain remaining time, right? So we don't overshoot. Do we have a min on the, is it just min? Delta time and coin rain duration, right? So we don't overshoot. We want the smaller of that. Then we say the coin rain counter. It's interesting we don't have a coin rain. I wish this scrolling would be faster. So. All right, this is basically how many coins to be spawned have we accumulated. All right, so have the coin rain counter. We increase that by t times the coin rain per second. This is how many new coins should be spawned. And if it's 0.3, can I please, can I delete that message? Oh, you didn't see that? Good. I don't buy viewers. So you could spawn 30 coins per frame or 0.03, but if you always say, oh, that's not a full coin, you have to remember how many coins you have not spawned, right? And obviously then we say coin rain duration minus equals delta time, just to count it down. And then we say, if we have, how many full coins have we collected, right? Created. How many full coins have we created? And I'm not sure that the cast works like this. We'll have to figure that out, right? Then we subtract the ones we created and spawn the actual coins we need to spawn, right? We could probably just floor this. No, can we floor this? And probably this is min, right? So all we need to do is have the spawn coins, and that is probably spawn coins, right? And so we need a function that spawns coins and coins count int, right? And I'm missing the colon here. Hell yeah. So that was the easy part. And actually we're gonna do the same here, right? Because go to definition. I'm interested in the inner loop, right? I'm interested in the inner loop. So this works a bit different, right? So this works a bit different. So we have that in spawn zone. We say if we have an EC config, right? If we have an EC config. If you don't get a config for the coins, right? Well, that indentation did not like me at all, right? And we want entity ID dot pickup coin. So if you have a configuration, if we don't have a configuration, if we have a configuration, we do something, right? Probably we should just say if EC equals null return, do nothing, right? Early out, so we can assume once we get here, we have something. And then we just steal the Unity code again, because that's just stolen from... so we have a for loop, right? We want a for loop for... Did we ever do a for loop? We did it for each, right? But we never did a for n in range, for n in... for n in 9. What will that give us? 0 to 7. Okay, for n in. For I in count, right? We say the position equals, I think it's a vector 2. It's a vector 2, and do we have any random? Well, that's interesting. So we don't have any random, right? GD script random. So we create some random. Random number generation. Getting a random number. Rand f returns a random floating point. Rand f range sounds good, right? Rand f range from to rand f range. So we have a rand f range from 0 to 1000, right? That's the X, that's right of the fish. And then we have a rand f range from, I mean, we fine-tuned that values, right? So they should just work since we use the same coordinate system, right? So this is the position where we want to spawn the coin, and the spawning works slightly different. Velocity is also going to be interesting, but right now I just want to spawn them, right? And we just set the object position, right? To a vector 2. And then we add it to pickups. Right? Basically, we do a ton of this. So I'm just going to code by copy and paste, right? So we instantiate the resource, we set the position basically to this, right? We don't rotate, and we add it to pickups because we know it's a pickup, right? And then we have the loop. We have the spawning, we have the set parent at child. And then we have to check if it's a pickup, right? So var p equals O, the new instantiated. Oh, this should be P, right? Because this is the pickup, right? Pickup var pickup equals PS pickup, and if we have a pickup, right, then we do the to do set velocity, which currently doesn't work, right? I just want to see that this is working at all. Oh, wrong comment style. I was wondering what's... And identifier P not declared in current scope. Oh. Is it not? Could not find pick up. So basically we say, hey, this is whatever we instantiated, right? And if it is a pickup, then we want the pickup. So we can call pickup functions like set velocity, right? And actually, I'm just gonna implement that in one go. I'm just gonna say pickup dot set velocity, which doesn't exist, right? And that's a vector 2 with a random range -10 to +10. X, left or right, slight variation, right? And we want a random F range -400.0. That is the falling down, right? I hope that works for negative ranges. The pickup has a set velocity? I doubt that. We did the same here, right? We just set the velocity. So we just have our velocity in the pickup. I mean, that's bar velocity. And that is velocity additionally to the world velocity. So that is a vector 2. And that defaults to vector 2.0. Right? And then we have a function that says set velocity, gets a velocity, which is a vector 2, and that is basically velocity equals velocity. And one day I will get to this. One day I will understand. Shall we give this a go and see what happens if we run into... Actually, I'm gonna cheat, right? I am gonna cheat, because what we can do is we can just drop a coin rain right here. So if we play, you'll never catch it, right? Because this coin rain has no... And I'm just gonna put it here. So we... Interesting. Okay, because I'm dumb. I'm dumb, right? Let's remove this coin rain here. Yes. Let's go into game. Let's go into game. Right? And we have the pickups. We need to drag it in here. And then we can just put it here. And now we collect it and nothing happens. Oh, nothing happens. Yeah. Look down there. There are all the coins. So there's two problems with that, right? Let's start this again. Let's start this again. As soon as I start swimming, we spawn the coins down here, right? That's the rain. Hey, we spawn them at the bottom because up is down and down is up. Remember, coordinate system in Go is upside down, and the velocity does nothing. But that's easy to fix, right? So let's go into the script editor, and basically this is up to minus 600. I think the lower number has to be, but that also means this needs to be 250 to 400, right? We want them to go down. And the velocity currently is doing nothing, so we have to do that in our update of the pickup, I was sure. So in the physics process, right, what we want to do is so I'm gonna change this a bit, right? I'm gonna call this var v, which is a vector 2. X and y is 0, right? And then I say m plus equals velocity, right? And I say m, and I'm not sure this will work, will it? This works, right? So we have m now instead of mx, and that means we can just say self.transform.origin minus equals, oh, we do minus there. So I want to do a plus equals m here, right? But that means we have to minus this movement here. Makes sense. So we banged all of that into one big formula. And the coins are falling, and the coins are collectible. It looks kind of nice, right? I mean, you never can collect all of them. Let's see if that also works for the real coins. And we're still in this the player only sees what's in the purple frame, right? But we want to see what's outside of the frame. And let's see the tunnel, the curves, the big zigzag. Maybe we should have a drop down that allows us to select a specific zone. I don't remember. Oh, the purple and blue, right? Pink and purple. I know this one. I know this one has the coin up here, right? So let's see what happens if we hit that coin there, the blue one. And it starts to rain, right? And if I go here, it rains longer. Isn't that obviously balancing? This is probably the fully upgraded coin rain, and also you can see they disappear down here, right? They just vanish, which is I don't so funnel 20 also has so I wonder if they actually fall forever, right? I mean so they're falling, so we probably should, I mean, I don't care if they're falling. And if I go to remote here, right, and go into the main game pickups, there's a ton of coins here. And probably keep falling forever, right? Can we? Right, so wait, Okay, so since they're moving sideways, they're actually removed, right? We fixed that for unit. Where's my window? Tell you what, right? Is there actually, how can you install a plugin? Why can't I? Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure you could embed the player window, right? Is it embed? Godot plugin embed player. Yeah, that's not embed game. Plugin that. Oh, nice. So wait. Windows. Ah. Okay. Let's ignore that. It was worth a try, right? So the thing is, I believe right now our game manager, right? Our movement is 240. So if we spawn, I'm gonna steal this, right? So if we spawn them with a forward movement of 240, right? 240 to 240, that should cancel, they should move in a straight line, right? Never getting close to the fish. Let's try that real quick. Let's go small. They fall straight, right? And if they fall straight, we delete everything that ends up here. Yeah, when I kill the fish, obviously, this is right, so we have a ton of pickups here, and if I respawn, all of them are gone, right? And now we need to find actually a coin rain. Come on. We need better randomization here. Definitely. Ah, there was the funnel. Okay. Let's start this again, right? I wish I could embed this window. So we go small. We look here, right? We look at pickups. We only have the coin rain here. We start swimming. And we have a ton of coins here, right? Ton of coins. For example, is this so okay. We are here, right? Let's pick this one. I'm not sure. I guess this view is not updated, right? This is not the... That makes me sad. So these coins will be falling forever, right? So I have to be quick now. I don't want to die. Basically, these coins down here, I can collect the ones up there. Let's collect them all. They all go, right? But these coins down there, they keep falling. And it's sad that we hit a zone now that So they will be falling forever. I'm sure they will be falling forever, and I'm actually gonna extend the debug UI, right? I'm gonna extend the debug UI. Extend the debug UI, and where we have this small, right? I'm just gonna duplicate this and rename this to tiny. Tiny is good, right? Tiny is good. Nope. Tiny. Let me call this tiny. Don't you wish we could do this in Unity like this? Obviously the tiny is this is wired up wrong, right? So we create a new function. And yes, we could parameter. Let's just make this very, 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 very small. We need to disconnect this. I hope we're still in tiny. We are in tiny, right? And then we unbutton tiny pressed, right? We connect it to this one. So let's try. So we get super tiny, right? So if I start swimming now and I try not to die, but what you see is these coins down here, right? They're literally falling forever. And they will keep falling, and they will keep falling forever. And they're still falling. I mean, maybe tiny was not tiny enough. All right, so we spawn a ton of coins here. So what we need to do is we need to kill them when they leave the window, right? And we already have that. So can I go to script, pick up, please? Oh, we weren't. We have this, right? We say if we are on the game manager left boundary, then we maybe we should just have a rectangle. Maybe the game manager. I don't want structs under the game manager, right? But what if we could just do an if here, right? But I'm pretty sure we have a rect2, right? I mean, could even be a rect2i. You have a rect2, and if you look at that symbol, I'm pretty sure that has a contains, right? A method encloses intersection grow has point, right? I'm pretty sure has point if the, so we could define a rectangle. We define a rectangle, and if that rectangle, it's the kill, it's the life zone, right? When we leave that rectangle, we die. So we go to the main scene, right? Actually, we go into the game scene. I'm not sure, probably I want to add a child node, which is a node 2D, right? And I'm going to call this helpers. Not sure about the structure yet. And then I add a child node and say rect. Oh. It could make it collision shape, right? And say as long as it collides, it's alive. As soon as it stops colliding, it's dead. Yes, I know. So what if we say we want a rectangle? right? Let me just say, I mean, how big do we want it, right? If you look at the game manager right now, our left boundary is minus 1,200, right? So what if we set the position? Where is the size of this? Where's the size of this rectangle defined? Ah, there. Right, so what if we have a 2,400 wide thing that is centered? Well, centered, and this is centered, and then we make it, I don't know, we spawn at 600, right? So make it 1,200. So this is our alive rectangle, right? This is our alive rectangle. It's disabled, right? It's a trigger. So all we want is the rectangle. I'm not sure that's the best way to do it. I just want something that visualizes as a rectangle. So we probably, can we get the rectangle from the collision shape 2D? Can we? So we want a rect 2, right? So if we have a collision shape 2D, can we get the collision? Can we get the shape from that? And can that be a rectangle, right? So we can get the shape. We can get the shape, and the shape has a get rect, right? The shape has a get rectangle. And we actually can draw it. So we call this game zone, right? We call this game zone, make this uniquely accessible. Probably too expensive, but okay. So the pickup, right? CS for collision shape equals game zone, right? Oh, I always get this wrong, right? Why? Yeah, it's a collision shape. Shape 2D. We expect this to be a collision shape 2D, and then we say var R is a rect 2 is the CS dot get. We did have a, oh no. So, okay, var S is a shape, right? Which is a collision shape. No, which is CS dot shape. It was shape, right? Shape 2D. Shape 2D. Fair enough. We could all do this in one line, but, and then from the shape we could get the rect, right? From the shape we have a get rect. Right, and then we say if the rect, right? If the rect was it has point, right? If the rectangle has the point. So if not, R has point position, right? Then we kill it. I think that is oh, that's the wrapping, right? Oh, that is the wrapping. I mean, wrapping is fine. We're ignoring Y here. And we're not using the wraparound anyway, right? So instead of checking if it's on the left, we check if it's in this nice visual rectangle, right? Which is invisible, so, but a nice visual cue for us, right? So let's go tiny. Actually, let's go small. Uh-oh. 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 Ah, okay. We have to, okay. What we get the, I think we go into the game manager, right? We go into the game manager, and the game manager has a game manager has a, what do we, the thing is, I don't want to do this, right? Because this might not be valid in the context, but we do know we have a game manager. So from the game manager, we have the movement X, right? But what if we had an and export var game zone, right? Collision shape 2D. Which has no default, right? So it defaults to null. And the getter is actually return the game zone. Probably we should get the game zone only once on ready, right? So what we go do is we say game zone equals oh, we're mixing actually let's drag this in, right? Let's drag this in, and we just do it like this. And then when we go into our scene, into the game manager, right, this has the game zone, and we can just drag in this helper here. That's better, right? Too much clicking, but, and this exclamation mark, I mean, maybe this should be an area, right? Maybe this should be an area. What if we do what the, maybe this should be an area 2D, right? Maybe we should just do it like this and then drag the game zone in that. The nice thing is now we could just use the normal collision logic, right? And added layer names. Oh, we have layer names. That is good. So we have our obstacles, right? We have our obstacles, our rock. Our rock has an area 2D, which is on layer 2. So let's edit the layer names real quick, right? So that is obstacles. That's better. And then the fish, I'm jumping all over the place here, I know. I'm jumping all over. And the fish here, right? Let's go into the fish, also has an area which is on layer 1. So let's name that fishes. And then just because we're here, we call this game zone, right? Game zone. And now we go back to where we actually were in the game. No, not in the UI, in the game. We have the game zone, right? And we change this to 3. So the pickup, well, we don't have collisions, right? But at least we could now. So if I go back, I'm jumping all over the place, right? So this is obviously not a good idea, but we have self.gamemanager.gamezone, right? We can access the game zone here. And this should be a collision shape. Maybe it should be an area. And what if you have an area 2D? What does an area? Maybe we could just do an area and just do the has check there. I mean, overlaps body, right? We don't have a body, so we're gonna handcraft it for now, right? We could use an area 2D here to use area 2D directly, or we could give our coins a collision shape. Our pickups a collision shape and just use that, but I think that is overkill when all we care is the position, right? So let's see if that works better. Let's go to small and start swimming. And obviously they all die instantly because when we spawn them, right? When we I hate this scrolling. It's too slow. Where's the spawn coins, right? We spawn them at minus 1100, right? So they spawn outside and get insta-killed. So maybe we want to extend our our game zone a bit. So our game zone here, right? Our game zone. Maybe we make that a bit bigger, right? So they don't get insta-killed. So let's go small. We spawn our coins, they fall down, and our game zone ends down here somewhere, right? And they disappear. Which is pretty nice. We could have modeled everything just to use the collision system, but this is a good start. So back to the script. This was taking longer than expected. We obviously want to use the correct velocity, and then none of that would have happened anyway, but it's always good to test that edge case, right? So we spawn the coins and they drive out to the left if we don't catch them, and then they disappear somewhere in this box that we defined, right? Which is outside of the camera. So this is probably the fish could also check that and not just swim up for ever, right? Maybe leaving the game zone is enough for a respawn. Let's see if I can. No, I don't. I don't want to. Why? Ooh, so we have another problem, right? So when we spawn a new zone, we spawn it here to the right? So when we start swimming, everything we spawn in here gets instantly nuked. So we probably need to extend the game zone by the biggest zone we might have. And to be honest, the probability of things flying off to the right is pretty low, so we can be pretty sure that what we have to the right, what we have here is also game zone. So I actually want to drag this here to be, we were 2,400. I want to go to 5,400, right? Let's go to 6,000. And I'm dragging here because I want the center to stay the same, right? So, but if I enter 6,000 here and 1,800 here, that should work, right? So we extended the zone to the right. So if we spawn very large zones, which we shouldn't, we could go even bigger, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter. It breaks if stuff starts flying off to the right side, right? Then this will be costly. Or maybe we ignore if it's the, we could compare only top, bottom, and left, right? But we could also just make this, I don't know, very, very large. It's good to have boundaries, right? It's always good to have these boundaries in place. So my guess is this is this. Right, so we have a game zone. We always swim from left to right. I mean, if we ever change the game to swim up or down, or we're in trouble. In trouble, so let's go small. And stuff doesn't get destroyed, right? When we spawn it outside of our visible range. I mean, that was just... Oh, I didn't want to take the magnet. I wanted to let them live. And now you see the coins here are still here. I need to go small. I can't see where I'm swimming. And I'm dead. So, coin rain done. Agreed. Agreed. So, coin explosion, right? Coin explosion. We're going to do it exactly the same way, just to save some time. Coin explosion, right? We go to the coin explosion. So we have a pickup effect explosion, right? And we have to do something here. And we have the pickup effect explosion here, right? Where's the... We have a spawn coin explosion, and we give it the position where the explosion starts, right? Fair enough. So we have a spawn explosion. And maybe, just maybe, we pass in what if we pass in, we pass in the PP, right? The position. Oh. Why is this spawn coins and not spawn coins? So we have a function, spawn explosion, right? That's gets a position. That is a vector 2, right? To be defined. And we just have this here. So when we spawn an explosion, and we did total overkill here with, I don't want to do it this complicated, right? So I want to spawn a number of coins. So we do the same as for the spawning. We check, can we spawn a coin at all? That's fair, right? And then we calculate the position and the rotation, and we do all of that. And then we have this layered approach of, hey, do this for the next and then stop, right? Right now, I just want the coins to fly away. So it's probably just, where is it? It's set velocity, right? We just do the part up to the set velocity. So spawn explosion and spawn coins is very similar, right? So we do this, right? And the count is var count. What was the count? Is 50, right? The count was 50. The count was 50. And then the whole period offset, I want to spawn along a rotation, right? So we spawn ahead of the fish. So what we're gonna do is we say position dot x plus equals 120, right? We spawn not where this thing was. We always spawn in front. If we catch the coin with our tail fin, we still spawn in front of us. All right, so the position is basically the position, right? No variance here. And if it's a pickup, if it's not a pickup, we're in trouble anyway, right? If it's not a pickup, we're in trouble. We set the velocity to, what's the initial velocity here? So I want the right vector, and we multiply that by 200, right? And then we divide that by the duration, right? Where's the speed? Where's speed coming from? We totally... Oh, the speed is actually the world speed, right? Because if we... Okay. So, what if we say var v equals vector 2 dot right, right? That's our vector now. And then we say v multiplied by 200. That is our speed, right? And then we say v plus equals movement x, which we do have movement x. Wait, we do have movement x here. Oh, we are inside the game manager, right? So we do have movement x. So we just counter the movement, right? So if we set the velocity to v now, we should just spawn a coin in front of us that stays there forever. And we're gonna do the same as we did. We're gonna cheat, right? You're gonna cheat because we have this coin rain. Ah, that's not what I wanted to. Can I please, can I lock this in place and just move the coin rain out of the way, right? And then we spawn a coin explosion. And we just put that in front of the fish, right? So let's see if that works. As soon as I start swimming, something breaks. Oh, obviously, this is a vector, right? So we need to add it to the x component. Let's try this again. And the magnet is slightly stronger than, let's say, let's set this to 400 for the test. All right, so I have this coin that is flying away from us forever, which is not good, right? We want it to fly for a bit and then stop. So Watch it again. If we touch the eye. Oh, we had the mega magnet on. That's not a good start. And we have the... Where? Why did we trigger the rain? What triggered the rain? What triggered the rain? Explosion, rain, right? So why was the rain triggered? Why was the rain triggered? You did see that, right? Let's... So this is the exploding coin that's flying away, right? Oh, we probably collected this coin here when we touched the magnet, right? We touched the magnet and that triggered the rain. Okay. So we're gonna delete the rain and just have the explosion, right? And it's weird because it needs to get out of the gravitational pull of the fish first, so it has this it's getting pulled back. And this coin explosion we don't see because there's one. So let's check this explosion. It's not an explosion right now, all right? It's 50 coins in the same position that fly away from us. But we can rotate that, and we want to rotate that in an angle, right? So let's go to this. And what we can do is we want to rotate this vector, right? We want to rotate this right vector. I'm not sure why. We started with 200 here, right? We started with 200. Oh, and then we increased the... Okay. So if we go... We want to rotate this vector, right? So what if we... Oh, let's go to the vector first. My brain is a bit faulty today. Do we have a rotate? OP. Rotated. Returns by angle in radians. Okay. Right, so what we can do is, what if we say v equals v dot rotated by 0, right? If we rotate it by 0, nothing will happen, right? It's still the same. What if we rotate it by I, right? And now full circle is 2 pi, right? And we rotate by 50, so that looks a bit weird. But what if we rotate by fractions of pi, right? Best viewers on, go away, you're banned anyway. Bots again. So we want I, which is 50, right? We want that to be split to half a circle, right? So basically what we say, we multiply I by 3.14 divided by count, right? That will give us even spacing, probably in the wrong direction. Let's see where. So all of these go down. So we need to actually subtract 3.14 divided by 2.0, right? Or actually what I prefer, old school, multiply by half instead of divide by 2. And probably that gives us this nice, it's still too slow, right? But that's, maybe we spawn them a bit further ahead. No, that was too far, right? So maybe, just maybe, they should ignore. I think they should ignore the magnet. What if pickups could ignore the magnet? What if pickups could ignore? Maybe they have a is magnetic, right? So we could spawn it very close and say, I think I'm going to try that. So what if a pickup, right? What if a pickup had a func is magnet? It's not magnetic, is affected by magnet. What's the opposite of magnetic? Is attracted to magnet? Is metal? Is metal is a bit. We call it is. I don't want to make it too long, right? Is magnetic. It's not a magnet, but is magnetic, right? And that returns a bool. That returns a bool, and we could just return true, right? But what if we have a var disable magnetic for duration, right? Float, and by default that is 0. But if no is magnetic is only if disable magnetic duration is smaller or equal to 0, right? And then we have a function disable magnetic for seconds, right? And that is as duration is float. And that is basically disable. And now we could say, do we add it? Do we minimize it? We want the longer of it, right? I'm just going to set it. For now, I'm just going to set it. You could argue maybe merge with the existing one, right? And then basically, but that means in the physics process, and probably it's enough to do that in the process, right? It doesn't need to be precise. We say if ignore disable, not ignore. That's why the if disable magnetic duration is larger than 0, right? And we say disable magnetic duration minus equals delta. Just count it down. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. So we set it, we use it, and we count it down, right? So in the manager, when we process the physics, right, we say if not P is magnetic, then we continue, right? If it's not magnetic, you could say we only ignore this in the magnet range, and you probably be right. You probably be right? So we could do it like this. We could also do the bool check before the comparison, but we do the comparison anyway, so probably it doesn't really matter. It could be part of this if, right? The brace here confused me. So let's do it like this for the moment and say, if it's not magnetic, it's not affected by the magnet, right? We probably don't need to check the range though. So, but a local comparison between two variables and registers is probably faster than this. We could also just say, hey, if it's not magnetic, then the magnet range is 0, right? For this object. There are multiple ways of doing this, but this basically says if it's not magnetic, don't apply the magnet stuff, right? So that means if we spawn it, and we spawn the explosion, and even if we spawn if we don't tweak the position, right? What if you say pick up disable magnetic for 3 seconds, right? To be tweaked. And in theory, the coins we spawn from this explosion, right? They're not affected by the magnet. And there was something weird with the... Can I see this again? It's... Oh. We have this... We're rounding to the wrong... We're doing half circle, but we're not shifting by half, right? So we need to add the 0.5 because we have values from 0 to 49, but we want values between 0 and 3.4. So we have to slightly. We could also change the division. Let's remove this for a second. Why angle and float in radians? Maybe it cannot be negative. Maybe it cannot be negative. Something is odd about these angles, right? So I'm gonna let's call this A for angle, right? And I'm pretty sure I'm doing something pretty daft here, so actually, we had a degree to deck to red. That also means we have a red to deck, right? We have a red to deck. We have a red to deck, so we could just do a red to deck because degrees is so much easier for us. I don't want to do the mass in degrees. So I want values between 0, y. Okay, I'm gonna remove this for the moment, right? Because it's skewing the result. And then I'm gonna make this very slow, right? Oh, actually, we need to re-add the movement because otherwise... And maybe we spawn it in front of the fish again, because if it's still collectible, right? It's collectible, just not magnetic. So this is this. So after 3 seconds, we could collect them, right? You saw that. So the mass seems to be correct because this is a perfect half circle, right? Oh, it was just, okay. The mass was correct, but we accidentally auto-collected part of them. So all of this was good. All of this was good. All right, so can we not collect the magnet and collect the green eye? Ah. Okay, but you see we have this coin explosion, which is much nicer. I probably want this even faster. All right, so we're tweaking this again, right? And then we don't have the slowdown effect, right? So we're gonna do the same that we have for we probably want to lerp the velocity over time. So in Unity, we had this crazy, we had a timed velocity, right? For a certain time of this velocity and then change it. And then we had this fast, slow, stop. Fast, slow, stop. Which was like... So what I actually want to do is... set target velocity, right? And that is vector to 0 in 3 seconds, right? So I want this velocity now, but I want that other velocity in 3 seconds. So yeah, we're gonna do that, right? So what if we have the velocity, right? We have the target velocity, which is a vector 2, which might be null. Right, we have the var start velocity. Maybe we just lerp it. So we need to count. Oh, how do we do this? Actually, let's just make all these non-null, right? And then we have the velocity change duration. This is how long till we want to be at the target velocity. And then this probably should be embedded in class, right? Velocity change time. How far in are we into this, right? So what if we have a func set target velocity right? And we always ignore the case that somebody does stupid things, but what we do is at this point we set the start velocity to our velocity, right? Just to the current value. We could do more complex things. Then we set the target velocity actually to the velocity we want, right? We set the velocity change duration. Nope. To the duration. and we set the velocity change time to 0.0. Right? That does nothing in itself. That just says, yeah, okay, gotcha. So in the update, and I'm doing it in the process and not in the physics process, right? Because it doesn't need this precision. We say if target velocity change duration, right? Velocity change. We could use any of these, right? But if the duration is larger than the time, right? If the duration, how long it should take, is larger than the time, then we increase the time by the delta, right? So we just finish it. Then we have a percentage. How far in the animation are we, right? How far in the animation we are. And that is basically the short one divided by the long one, right? So the velocity change time divided by the velocity change duration. So if we want 1 second in a 2 second duration, we get 50%, right? And then we have, I hope vector 2, just want to look, has like a lerp. It has a lerp with a weight, right? This vector 2, okay. So this basically means the velocity, right? The new velocity equals the start velocity lerped towards the target velocity, right? By how far we got so far. And just to be safe, when we set the velocity, right, we're gonna set the velocity change duration to 0, right? Whenever, just as a safeguard, so we don't set a value and then change it accidentally. So in the update, if we have a target velocity that we want to get to over time, we check how far we are there, and probably that should be layered and blended into each other. We just overwriting the values. So let's see if we completely mess this up, right? So after 3 seconds, it stops and just behaves normally. And you saw it slowed down nicely, right? Maybe 3 seconds is too much. So maybe we use 1 second, and same here, right? So we start fast and then we slow down. That's not aggressive enough, right? So we want an even higher initial explosion, probably. And that's kind of nice. Maybe that was a bit much. Again, we could have sliders in game, but so I wanted to run a bit longer, but it gets magnetic before that, right? So and what I want to do now is rand range f, right? We go from, I don't know, 900 to just to have a bit of variation, right? Just to have a bit of variation. So they, oh, that looks far more natural than the other thing, right? And I think actually faster ones should slow down slower. So what if we say var r equals rand f range from 1 to 1.5, right? And then this is actually 900 times R. And we also do it times R here, right? And no, we don't do it here. So basically, the faster ones fly longer, right? I mean, they have more energy, so maybe that energy is a bit much. Well, what if maybe the energy is good, but the duration is too long? Maybe the duration should be shorter. Tweaking values by editing. I mean, that kind of felt good, right? You can't catch them all. That's intentional. And even with the magnets now, if we catch this eye, it should still fly out, right? I mean, that's satisfying, right? And we're going to do one more slide thing. We will add, let's use a range again, right? We will just add a slight variation, and we have to be careful about how far. It still looks too, I mean, maybe that is 10-degree variation, right? Let's start strong. That's a 10-degree variation in the angle, right? So that's a ton. That means there's a bit of overlap, and the nice thing is, I'm scared now, but let's spawn 500 coins, right? Just for that looks okay-ish. It looks almost natural, better than the thing we build in Unity, right? So what are we learning? Bam, coins. I mean, it's intentional that you can't collect them all. We could change this here, right? We could say, hey, we have a tighter cone, right? We have a tighter cone. I hope it's still going right. Oh, we're shooting up now, so we probably need to add that here. Probably we need to subtract that instead of adding it. No, that was good, right? Maybe that's even better. Maybe that's even better. Yeah, that's nice, right? I mean, it gives the player the feeling, hey, I might be able to get them all. And the code is far less convoluted than this tracked pass. We're going to backport that to Unity. I like this variant more. And now I'm just going to swim till we actually hit some rain, some explosions. What if the rain could contain explosions? Okay. Oh, please, don't kill me. Don't kill me. I like this. I like the tighter cone. And we have to be careful. This is connected to this, right? So... Right, so this is the cone. And this is 0.5 plus 0.5 times the cone, right? So this is a wide one, and this is a crazy one, right? And then we have a super tight one. I'm not sure my mass is correct here. It's not. It is not. I'm not in the mood for taking out pen and paper right now. So this feels good, but I want to do something crazy, and please forgive me for this. Please forgive me. But what if? What if, right? What if we spawned explosions instead of... Please don't do this at home. This will... We're in trouble now. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. Not yet, because but as soon as we hit the rain, I like how this explosion turned out. I mean, probably we're gonna spawn 10 coins in the lower balanced value, right? And balancing, it's an upgrade you buy for coins. So at first you get like 3 coins, and then you get 20, and then you get 8 gazillion. But the next upgrade costs like 1 million. So, no one actually... There's a rain there, right? There is a rain. There's the rain. The rain. Oh, this is so much fun. If you have an idea for a pickup, be my guest. So, We spawned explosions, right? I know, obviously, that this was kind of to be expected. So I don't know how many billion coins we have on screen right now, but it's still kind of working. I mean, the controls are still responsive. It's just not managing to render anymore. And I mean, we just collected 20,000 coins, right? If you look down here, that was a ton of coins, and it should start to get faster again soon. I'm not sure why it's... it feels like I probably still have like 20,000 coins at my tail. So let's not hit the rain, please. Let's not hit the rain. Let's not hit the rain. I don't want the rain. I don't want the... Oh, trouble. 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 Can you avoid the... I mean... This will never happen, right? But the nice thing is it's still playable, since we kind of decoupled the controls from the frame rate. Okay, let's get the magnet and hope that we suck up all the coins on the screen, right? Yeah, we got a new rain. Ah, that was not a good idea. That was not a good idea. I mean, okay. We call this ECE, right? And then we say, all right, and then we say if rand f is larger than 0, let's say we have a 1% chance, right? Then we say p equals ECE dot resource instantiate. Thank you for the autocomplete. And else we just do the normal thing, right? So we get a random value. We get a random value between 0 and 1, right? Between 0 and 1 inclusive. I don't care about the inclusive. And if that is in the top 1%, we spawn an explosion. And otherwise, we just spawn the normal one, right? And actually, var r equals rand f. We're going to tweak this a bit and say if we're in the upper 1%, we do this. If we're in the next 1%, right? Why not go for it, right? We have the rain. We have the rain. We could have a randomizer inside the pickup as well. That would be another option, right? Then we spawn the rain. And maybe 1% is not good enough. Oh, that was the... We need rain, right? We need something that has rain. I really need a drop down that lets me select the... There's some rain there, right? There is some rain. What does the time say? Yeah, that's fine. So we have normal coins. There's an explosion in there. There was another rain down in there, right? I'm not sure if rain should be able to spawn a rain. I mean, that could mean endless rain, but this kind of worked out. I like the rain. The rain and the explosion turned out pretty nice. I'm kind of stoked. I'm happy how this turned out. So let's see if we can do a rain combo. There's an explosion that we missed. There's a rain. So come on. The thing is, it's a rain coin, right? So it's falling down, so we missed it. We just missed it. No endless rain combo for us today, but that's fun. That is fun. I mean, we could even fix the random seed and then have competitions of who can collect the most coins in this zone. Do you go for the upper one or the lower one? Right? Oh. Who designed these levels? Zones. It's not levels. I mean, it's... Oh, come on. Can I reach 1,000 coins? Can I reach 1,000 coins? Oh, yes, I can. Magnet rain. I mean, this is gonna be chaos, right? Oh. Come on. I wanted the explosion. No. Oh, I missed them all. Come on. That's so unfair. That is so unfair. 4 coins left. 4 coins left for the 1,000. 1,000. 1,000 coins. Who's the fish master? I'm the fish master. Wow, this is fun. And obviously all these values, we will balance them. So there will be a shop where you can spend coins to upgrade things to get more coins. But this is, oh my goodness, this is nice, right? This is nice. So, and maybe the explosion. Maybe let's just set it to 50 for now, right? Still feels good. And actually, what we could do is, I mean, we could do the same here, right? And maybe we just have a give me a coin thingy. Maybe we just have a give me a coin thingy. Or create a coin with these probabilities that sounds like something. RT for R-type, right? So the explosion can spawn explosions now, which can spawn explosions, which can spawn rain, which can spawn explosions. I mean, this would be like, hey, you upgraded a lot, right? You earned this, right? This is you played the game for a few days and yes, and now get the magnet and oh my god. Can you imagine every single coin collection is pling 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 and every explosion is pew, 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 and the rain is like and then there's a magnet that goes like oh my. Nothing about this is relaxed and tranquil anymore, right? Come on, get the explosion. No, it's falling too fast. I mean, maybe there should be acceleration for the rain, but I think this is... it's so hard to miss. If you aim for a coin in the rain, it's so hard to miss it. I mean, collecting a random one in the rain is easy, but saying, I want that green one is a challenge. Right? And obviously balancing is totally off, but oh my god, this is... That's the moment when you stop working on your game, right? Because you play it too much. I think there should also be a probability of just replacing a random coin. Any coin should have a low probability of becoming a special coin. Maybe. Or maybe in the level editor we could say, hey, this coin might become a special coin. This is so much fun. Can I get 6 more coins, please? Six. I want a pause button. I so want a pause button. I want a pause button. I want a pause button. And I'm gonna swim into that rock. Because oh, that was. I need a quick break. So what I'm gonna leave you with is, why don't we switch to that stream scene, right? And we call this soon label, and then we duplicate that and call this BRB label, and this is be right back, right? And then we disable this, and I will be right back. Maybe we should start this scene, right? So, better. Guess who's back? Yes, I'm back. Oh, you're not back. That break should be over. Okay. I like this. I want to do a full screen overlay, fish-based. You collect coins while I'm gone. I mean, okay. I am back, right? So we switch to the main scene again. Wow. This turned out so nice, and here you can see what increased iteration speed brings. I mean, remember when we did this in Unity, we changed something and we waited for it to compile, to reload, to start, and it's just change, run, change work. I could even edit it while running. If I was using the dual screen setup, right? So, wow. I would say, let's put this, right? 2024, 10, 3. Godot. Add coin rain, right? Godot. Go to the door. Add coin explosion. And we had fun with it. I mean, we had fun. It's we're gonna backport that to Unity at some point, maybe at the end of the project. Bye-bye. So I would say this is done. Right, this is good for now. We accidentally fixed that. So it's in-game head-up display. So wow. Let's on data work on T Fiiish rs and do a just run, right? It's probably going to compile the whole bloody thing because I updated Rust. But let's do our little, we wait for the compiler dance, We wait for the compiler. Because I want to show you the old HUD, what I mean with HUD. And we split the HUD in the game HUD and the pause menu, and we'll add the pause button. I want the pause button in the game, right? I want the pause button. So, wait. So, I want this button here, right? So we can pause. That's the head-up display. I don't care about the settings for now. I want the coin counter here, right? And maybe we do, I'm not sure if we do the UI coin or if we do the actual animated twisting coin. And I want the distance counter here, right? And it's meters. It says meters. I'm not even sure what it is. Pixels, units, divided by something, we'll figure that out. But we'll do this part. And then we do this button here. And this button looks ugly as hell, but that might just be pixel art, right? Bad scaling. So that's what I mean with HUD. So we start with the upper right. We start with this, and we're not going to do the mouse pointer. The mouse pointer was like, what am I drinking, right? And I'm going to remove that coin explosion at the start. Sorry, folks, that explosion is gone. You have to find it in game. And also, we have a P button, right? So you can also pause with P at any time. And I want to try to get the nice, you see that fade there when I pause, unpause. I think I want that as well. We have that here as well. So, right, it fades between the two states. You see that old explosion never really worked because it was scaled so down that you didn't really have something of it. And there's the rain. Nice random. Did we manage to miss the rain? Yes, we managed to miss the rain. So, and this is the next big UI thing, but we want to start with this here in the upper right corner. I think, to be honest, this should be pretty straightforward. So we have two lines with two thingies. So let's do that. Let's do that. So we need textures first, right? We need textures, and I think we had the assets, right? And we had the UI here. So I'm just gonna drag the whole bloody... Can I do this? Can I do this? I'm not sure what it just did. I'm not sure. Did I accidentally drag it into one of the subfolders? Not in Fiiish. Not in obstacles. Not in pickups. Okay. Actually, do we have a open in file manager? Yes, we do. What if I took these and copied them here? And then I renamed this to actually buttons because we want mixed case here. Okay, now they're here, right? We have all this stuff here because we'll need it anyway. And then we have the buttons here. I'm going to ignore the font for the moment, right? I will ignore the font for the moment. What I will do is for the main UI, actually for the project, is it in project? I want to set the theme. Because I created a theme for the stream, right? But I call this fish theme. Right, so we have the fish theme. Oh, we have the fish theme here. Just in case, and then we can set it on the project settings. Right, so it's we need to restart the editor if we change the theme, which is fine, right? But so we have the debug GUI, right? But let's add a real GUI, right? And we're gonna do it the same. We're gonna put it in here, and then we're gonna extract it into a. Hey, Dev Sharks, yeah, fish. We're back at fish. Right, we add a control node, and we just call this UI. Maybe we split that out into separate parts. Maybe this is the HUD. Maybe this is the HUD. Right, and just for cleanliness, right? I call this UI and move the HUD under the UI. And then I'm actually gonna add a panel with a container. Right, I'm gonna add a panel because we might want to style it later. So I'm just gonna add a panel, which is upper left, but I want it in the upper right. No, that was the wrong button. I want layout, top right, top right, white, doesn't it? Oh, okay, that's why our panel, if we set it to top right, it's here, right? And we messed up the size. So let's make this a bit just for the moment, right? This is where we're gonna put our stuff. And if we run the whole bloody thing, that's where we want our things, right? And no matter how we scale, it's always there, right? It's always in the top right, wherever our top right might be. I mean, we got this black bar issue, which we're fully aware of, but here we want our stuff, right? So we add a vertical a V box. It's not a vertical box, it's a V box, right? We add a VBox, and that is basically the whole of the parent. And then we add an HBox. I think we add an HBox. We add an HBox, right? We could... and then we add an image. How do we add an image? How do I add an image? It's not a container, right? A texture rectangle. We add a texture rectangle, right? That is center, and then the texture we just use our UI texture here, which is the coin, right? And suddenly we have 1/4 of the UI done. Obviously, that's not the full truth, right? And I think, does it scale? Does it scale? Does it? It does scale nicely, right? So that works, but we want a label. And I think we just want a normal label here, right? So we want a label to the left. And this is where actually we count. You have 1,300. You have coins, right? You have coins. And we're probably going to override the label theme here. Right? We could have settings for this label and then do this. Clear. We want horizontal align, vertical alignment is center. We want this right aligned, right? So when the numbers get bigger, and we want this to expand. So layout, container sizing, expand, right? So we want this right aligned. So when the number gets bigger, it adds to the left, right? And then you have tons of coins. Obviously, we want the font size to be matching the icon height, but for that we go into the theme. And where's the label? So we're just going to overwrite the label, right? Label. No, that's not what I wanted. What I wanted to do is hard score label, right? Which has a base type of label. I messed that up, and probably I'm not sure how right? So what we can do now is we set the font size here to, I don't know, 48. Just testing. And then if we go here again to the label, we can set the theme type variation hard score label, and it gets bigger, right? So we could have set it per item, but this means this probably is a bit big. Well, let's make this 32. I'm not sure why. It just took a moment. So, and obviously we had that other font here, right? We had the other font, so let's use the font 2, and actually we still have both of these open, right? So we had fonts here. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go into Godot and say new folder, fonts, right? And I hope it will just support this. We add it. And I never used fonts in Godot, right? So I mean, okay. So I hope in the theme, I don't want to I would love to override the font for everything. Which one is the label? I mean, this is okay, right? This is okay. We probably hide the panel, right? So what we will probably do is in the theme we create a hot panel, right? Panel, and that hot panel overrides panel. Right, and if we go to this panel, we do the same. We go seam, no, not seam override, seam type variation. We say use a hot panel, which changes nothing for the moment. But if we decide here the panel, is just empty, right? Then we can centrally change that. I think this is very close to the. We could add something. This is very close to what we had before. Maybe we want a little margin box in there to get it away from the corner. Or we could just give it an offset from the corner, to be honest. I'm a fan of having the boxes actually in the corner. So this panel, margin container, right? And then we move that into the panel, and this goes into the margin container. Wait. Something went wrong with our layout here. So this is our panel, right? Our margin container should just take, okay. So this changed nothing, but in the margin container, and there it's in the seam overrides, right? What if we just say 16, 16, 16, 16? So if we had a frame, it would shrink away from that, and I think that's the way to go. And now we do the same for the flag. So I'm going to call this coin HBox container. I'm going to duplicate this and call this distance HBox container, right? Distance HBox container. And the texture rect here will be quick load, UI. Where's our UI? We drag the buttons in the textures, UI, mini icon, flag, right? We want the flag here, and the text here is actually 15 meters. And you could decide, probably we're gonna do it like, I'm not sure. Not sure yet, right? And this is the distance label, and I want to make that uniquely accessible. And this is the coins label, right? And that is all. Well, I want the HUD to update itself. So I'm going to add a script here, right? We're going to add a script to the HUD. I'm not sure I want this in scenes, but we can move it around later. So ready and process do some stuff, and we kind of, if you remember the debug UI, we already did the coins there, right? So you basically say if we have a game, right? We know the game, and then from the game we get the game manager. So I'm just gonna copy that because it's working already, right? So if we have a game, we get a game manager. If we have a game manager, we get the coins, right? And we probably can remove all those passes at some point. So in process, if we have a game, then we have a game manager, and then we basically say, okay, we have coins, right? And then we say, yeah, maybe we rename that to coin value label just to be consistent, right? And make that access unique name. And then this actually is what we had there, which is nice. Right, so this should already almost, right? This game here is empty, so we need to drag that game in there once. And coins is 0. The distance is wrong, right? And the coins count up. And the UI is in the wrong render layer. Right? Remember the HUD, the ordering, Z index. We had the layers here, right? We just stole the layers from the existing. Oh, did we close that editor? Yes, we did. That was on the other box. All right, so layer IDs, UI was on layer 8. So if UI is on layer 8, maybe we should put it on. I wish we could have named layers here instead of Z value index. So let's see if the UI up here is in front of everything. And I mean, UI can be easy. So, oh, there's so much polish we could do. Right? There's so much polish we could. Are we missing a cleanup? We're not reset. Did you see that? Okay. Did you see that? So I need to get a rain. I need to get a rain. Oh, we just lost access to our debug UI. I have no idea why, because this UI here, this HUD here, right? This HUD is full screen, so how can I allow clicking? I mean, the debug UI should come after the HUD, right? And the problem is now that debug UI is clickable, but this is not clickable, which doesn't matter for the moment. So we have the rain, right? We kill the fish and the rain keeps falling. But the problem is we don't reset the rain, right? So let's do that real quick while we're at it. Prepare respawn. We have a coin rain duration. We set that to 0.0, right? Just say, yeah, stop it. We're done. We're done. That was almost too easy with the UI. I planned to do that for like an hour. Well, we don't have the meters yet. We don't have the meters yet, so we need to calculate the meters. And that's just the game manager counting how far we got, right? And I think there was a translation factor, so This is the game. Where did we count the total distance in the old game? Time transfer is going to be interesting, but we have a distance here, right? You have a distance. Let's ignore the logic here. So basically we have pixels per meter. That's the one I wanted to see, right? Pixels per meter is 100. Okay, 100. So if the game manager, right? The game manager, we need a constant that is pixels per meter, and we're gonna export that just because. So we have add export var pixels per meter, just float meter, which is just 100, right? Pixels per meter. And then we have we need to get the distance, right? And the distance is basically so we have a var distance, right? Which is a float, which starts at 0.0. And in every update, if we are still alive, so in every update, in every process, where's the process? Where is the process, right? Distance plus equals movement x. I'm not sure that's what we want, right? Because that's affected by the pause. Okay, so we have to call self.movementx and we're going to be fine, right? So we count the distance. Oh, it's distance. Right, and then we have a getter for distance in... we need to clean up the order, but basically we have a func current, well, distance in meters, right? Which returns an int, which is basically return distance divided by pixels per meter, right? And then we floor that. We count the distance while we're moving. When we stop moving, we stop, and we round it to meters. So the hot, I mean, this is easy, right? Nope. Distance is distance in meters. It's just this, right? Distance. And here, this is the distance value label. I wish there was a way to drag and drop override, right? And let's see what breaks. 0 meters. Whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, we're currently moving at 240 pixels per second, right? So that's 2.4 meters per second. So 5 seconds should be 10 meters, right? Well, 12. That doesn't look right. So either distance is oh right. Yeah, I know what's wrong. Let's go quickly. Obstacle script, right? Here we also get the movement, but we apply the delta. So the movement X checks the pause, but it doesn't apply the delta. So obviously in the process where we increase the distance, we need to multiply by the delta, right? Because otherwise every tick we move 240 pixels, but we want to move 240 pixels every frame. So let's see where we are when we hit these two. Let's hit the first pillar, right? It's 18 meters. So let's see what the original did. It's going to be unfair because we have a different. Let's see if we hit this. This should be roughly 18 meters, right? It's 23 because we do some magic with spawning, right? Oh, unfair. Smaller screen. It's 23 meters because our offset, right? So zone manager, spawn. So we have an offset, right? When we call spawn zone. So yeah, that's obviously what I wanted to do. So here we have an offset, right? And that offset is passed in from next zone, obviously. And here we spawn at 1,500, right? That's the spawn offset. And I think we spawn at... So if we set that to the same value, and now Unity will be out of whack, we should hit the first pillar at 23 meters. We spawn stuff further to the right, which makes the initial zone a bit boring, but that means we 23 meters, right? So this looks nice. That was super fast. I wonder how Unity does next week when we get there. You could argue bigger font, make it wider, and yes, you'd not be wrong. So I want to test something, right? What if somebody gets really far, like a few thousand kilometers, right? Oh, so the box automatically expands, which is nice, right? I mean, that's what I kind of expected. Oh. It's pushing stuff out to the right. Why? Because okay. I mean, nobody's ever gonna get that far, and we could just make the panel bigger, to be honest. Right? We could just make the panel very big, actually. And everything is fine. So I'm gonna do the cheap version of that, right? So, but I want to initialize this to sensible values, and this also, let's set this to 0. And now it will just stay. I'm not sure this top margin there is. Did we just kill the top margin? Right, we have this margin container. Why is this not? Why is this not? Did I accidentally drag it up? I probably did. So let's fix the script. Let's fix the script not to do this crazy, hey, we do this, right? And that is the upper right UI. And I'm going to remove that coin soon. That massive spawn everything and more rain and more rain. Ah, I missed the rain. I missed the rain, but the magnet will give me some stuff now, and then I get another explosion. Oh, no rain. Right? 337 coins. Well, there were some swimming right under me, so I collected them late. Oh, I like this. I like this. This is becoming a game. 404, coin not found. Sorry. But we're gonna get it 200 flag, right? Okay, no, we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna... And if I continue to swim now, our distance doesn't reset, right? So in the game manager, in prepare for respawn, we set the distance also to 0. I mean, that's the easy part. Right, so I'm at 2 meters, I die. This needs to accelerate. The fish swimming up definitely needs to accelerate, right? So and it resets to 0. I think we can wrap up the whole UI today if we wanted to, but we're at the 2:30 mark. Let's add the pause menu. And pause, it's gonna be interesting because you have pause and pause. You have user initiated pause and then game state initiated pause. And oh, I like how you half catch the rain and then, oh, that's, I have to stop playing. Okay, so this is the HUD, right? This is the HUD, and this is the, actually, let's give this a, no, let's not give this a name, right? This is the HUD. And now I want to add the pause menu, right? Just the pause menu with the 2 buttons for now. Yes, I'm going to do both buttons. Add child node, control, right? And I'm going to call it in-game menu. In-game pause menu. It's just the 2 buttons, right? And I'm going to make that. And now it's going to be interesting because I'm going to make this full screen too. And I think we're stealing clicks now, no matter what we do, right? So I'm going to put the debug UI under it. And yes, we're going to extract that into separate scenes in a moment, or maybe not. I don't know yet. So I'm going to add a panel again, right? Just because we can. Because we... might want to do something, right? And this is also ordering of 8. And we can style that later. So that is the panel, and I want a horizontal box, right? So, well, actually, let's do the margin container here first, and also fill your parent, and then we do the seam overrides. I'm not sure that's the best way to do it, because I feel like duplicating these numbers all over the place is not ideal. And then we add an H box, right? And that H box has a button. It's a texture button, right? Is it a texture button? I don't want to make it a checkbox. It's a toggle button, but I'm going to make it a texture button for now. All right, and then where do we set the texture? This is pause, right? This is pause. I'm not sure why it's high. I'm just going to call this pause button. I'm going to call this, yeah, this is pause button, right? It has, I don't want hover, I don't want pressed. I actually want to change the texture if we are in the other mode, right? And then I'm just gonna duplicate that real quick and call this settings button. Right, but we're gonna change the texture on that. And I need to remove the buttons that I actually dragged into the scenes. I don't know how that happened, but this is the settings, right? Just because I remember we dragged the buttons here in the scene, so let's just delete that so we don't accidentally use them. Can I make the panel hug the buttons? Right? Can I make the H box container? So a bit of layout magic, right? So container sizing is shrink center. Shrink center. Same here. We probably could have multi-selected. I wish shrink center and shrink center, right? And then the H box container is actually layout. Container sizing, shrink begin and shrink center. And then the margin container is layout transform. Can we do shrink center here? Can we do center here? We can do center here, and then can we do for the panel, can we also do layout transform? I mean, I know how big this has to be, right? Right, I could just manually do that. I don't want to. Can I do plus 16 here? Oh, nice. but we need to do plus 16 twice, right? And actually we do plus 32 here. So this has a fixed size, right? This has a fixed size. This has a fixed size, so we can calculate that size, right? So we can calculate that size, and maybe I want anchors for this, right? I want the margin container to be in the parent container. And then I want this panel size. How can we... So I think the problem is the margin container cannot calculate this, cannot shrink to... Right? Well, it can shrink to the minimal version it needs, right? So this knows its minimal size. So this panel here, maybe we don't want a panel for this, right? What if we just put the margin container directly here and forgot about the panel? And then the margin container, we just anchor at the top left. That could work. That removes our panel possibility here, right? But I mean, the problem now is if I run this, I can click here, right? But I can't click here. And those buttons look big. Those buttons look too big. Were they that big in the... Come on. Come on. They were that big. Okay. Again, what learned. So I'm pretty sure I can't click them, right? And I want to make them smaller. They are. Sorry, but can we scale this by 50%? We probably just would scale the texture, right? We would just scale the texture and... We would just scale the texture and not bother with doing actually anything in code with that. So my problem now is this button, right? So in-game pause menu, we create a script, right, for the in-game, and we're gonna clean this up, right? So for the pause button, right, we want a pressed. Yeah, we want a pressed, and we're gonna call the in-game on pause button pressed, right? We're gonna connect this. I'm gonna say print pause pressed. And if I run this now, I cannot press pause because this is having the focus, right? And let me... So nothing here, right? So... How do I'm pretty sure there's just a setting, so it's not layout, focus, input. Process. This is interesting, right? Godot click through UI. multiple solutions, so input events, right? Yeah, that's not what we want. Click through the screen while keeping a transparent screen. Set pass-through. Wow. Mouse filter. Godot for UI control mouse filter. Mouse filter. Blocking mouse input. I mean, we want to do the opposite, but mouse. I mean, mouse was not here, right? Oh, there's mouse. Oh, maybe it's just pass controls, whether we'll be able to through and how these should be handled. Stop. Yeah. I wish this was scrollable, right? That's a scroll bar, but it okay, let's just try pass. Maybe that already solves the problem, right? So no. So the debug UI, right? The panel container, which is this, right? The panel container should definitely stop the mouse. So what if the debug UI itself just passes the mouse, right? Too simple? Okay, so main scene, right? Let's disable the debug UI for the moment. And the button has no feedback, but we get the pause pressed, right? So that works. So we could just set the panel to fit the lower left, but we don't want that, right? I mean, I could just do this, right? I could just do, nope. That's not what I wanted. I just wanted, we could just do this, right? And our problem for now would be solved because this works. I'm not happy with that solution. I probably have to understand that more, but we want it to work first, right? We want the pause menu to work, and the debug menu is just for us, so I kind of can live with it, but I still want to know there could be something that the debug menu has something here and something here and something here, and if I don't hit an element, I want to click through on what's behind it. So good enough for now. So step one, make the pause button do something, right? So what does a pause button do? The pause button toggles the pause of the game, right? And the HUD knows the game, so the in-game pause menu needs to know the game, right? So we do the same again. So we hook up the game to the in-game pause menu, right? And here we just drag in the game. It could just discover it. So when pause is pressed, we ask the game for the game manager, the standard procedure, right? Sorry, I want to click here. Right, we do this. I don't know why I double click. So we do something here, right? And the game manager is actually the one that pauses. Oh, we have pause in there, but that pause is not that pause, right? So the problem is we have, where's the paused? Where's the paused? We need to clean this up seriously. Right, so the movement knows about the pause, right? So paused. Oh, we have a paused here, right? We have a paused. And that is when we pause and resume, right? But that is basically, this is called from the fish, I believe. And please don't ask me why it's the fish. Right? So this is user pause. Obviously, if we use that for, no, this is game pause, right? If we use that for user pause, then we're in trouble. So, I mean, we have these, right? I'm not sure if we could pause the whole scene tree, right? We could pause the whole game. We could just say, hey, when we do this, right, we just pause this thing. Scene tree dot paused. I'm not sure. I'm currently pondering if we want to implement that ourselves or if we want the system to handle it. I'm just gonna that's nice. Set pause. We could just pause the whole game. We could try that, right? We could ask the game if it is paused. I think we're gonna do that. So but that's the whole scene tree, right? So let's go to, can we say self.game is paused if okay, let's do this slightly different, right? Was paused is the old state, right? Self.game.is paused, and I thought that was a call, right? And we just say self.game.set paused. We set it to the opposite, right? POWDIS paused. All right, we just toggle the pause of the scene tree. So we can stop it. All right, wait, so let me get this straight. And we press the button and it doesn't pause, it crashes. GD script pause subscene. Oh, we need to get the tree. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So we do var tree equals self.game.get tree. And then we do this on the tree, right? Kind of makes sense. I mean, it's partially component based, I guess. So there was a set paused on scene tree, right? Set pause, not set paused. Okay, okay, okay. Bit of autocompletion would have been nice here. Let's try this again. We pause. And we cannot unpause because the UI I mean, this is the whole tree, right? So I think the core of our problem is, right? I don't like this. So the problem is our in-game pause menu, right? Should process always, right? Because when the moment we pause the tree, we pause processing for the UI, so we couldn't press it again, right? So that works nicely. And that is nice. So that's part one, right? But we also want to change the texture. So if actually, let's say var is paused equals not was paused, right? Just to remove the mental twist of negating. So if we are paused now, else we do something else, right? So if we are paused now, we want to change the texture. And for that, we want to take the pause button, right? We want to take the pause button and actually texture normal equals 11, right? This will not work. This will not work, right? I just want to make a point. So I click and it crashes, right? On a base object of okay. So this is a texture 2D, right? So what we're gonna do is the thing is, I want to do it on the button. This is going to be a toggle button, right? So usually I don't want scripts under the main component, but let's pretend we're going to create a toggle button, right? So we have an export var pause texture, right? And that's a texture 2D equals null, and then we have a play texture. We have a play texture, right? And we don't, and on ready, we basically say, so do we take the normal texture? On ready, we say self dot texture normal equals pause texture, right? And then we have a func set pause equals pause bool. And then we have if paused self.texture normal equals. If we are paused, it's a play texture, right? And else self.texture normal equals pause texture. Crossfade to be done. So I leave this here. I mean, this will be a generic crossfading. I'm going to call this texture A and texture B, right? I'm going to call this texture A and texture B because this could be generic, right? This could be generic. Set A is A, right? It's a bit, it probably should be toggle. It should be toggle. But then we toggle the button and if it's A, we have this, right? Otherwise, we have this. Colon missing as usual. And we default to A, right? That means here we have texture A and B, right? So I'm going to go to textures, and this time I'm just going to drag and drop. So we have button pause and button play, right? And then the in-game menu, it doesn't set, it does a set A, right? Set A. And this is true. I'm not sure what the hell happened there. right? If it's paused, if it is paused, it's B. We could also say enable B or go to B or, right? But we just say, hey, switch the texture. Step 1, right? Oh, we double negated here. Okay. So usually I wouldn't set it. I would just have the button track the state of the tree, but we have, right? So while we're playing, we can play, we can pause, and we get this button, and then we that's fine. We want to disable the settings button, right? So we have access as unique name, and in the pause menu, when we are paused, we want the settings menu to be visible, right? Visible equals true. And otherwise it's invisible, right? The initial state is wrong at the moment, I know. Right, so visible, invisible, and the click does nothing. We want the crossfade, and that makes me a bit sad because I'm not sure. I think that's for later, right? That's polishing. Polishing for later. Later. Godot crossfade toggle buttons. Maybe we'll implement a custom toggle button, but oh, that helps so much. That helps so much because I suddenly can stop and point out things I see on the screen, right? Hey, look, we want to catch that coin here. Let's see. No, we can't do it, right? Oh, look, rain. Rain. We missed the rain. No, we didn't miss the rain. Oh, explosion incoming. Ooh, nice. Nice, nice. We almost have a game. Oh, we're almost dead. The fish is dead. I don't want that fish. Poor fishy, right? Poor fishy. I want to test one thing real quick. I'm all over the place today, I know, but I guess if we are in the stream UI, we can't press the. Wait. If we are in the stream UI, right? Oh, it works. Wait, it works? Because this box is only in the center. Okay, fair enough for me. Settings button does nothing yet. We can toggle this, right? I really want to project settings, input map, add a new action, right? Toggle pause. I add that. And I want this on the P key. All right, so we can check the toggle pause. Just like in the fish, I think we do dive. Process. Oh, we check space directly. That's not good. So I think in the game menu, actually the menu itself, right? The menu itself. So in the process, if input dot action press toggle pause, right? I'm basically going to call toggle pause. We're gonna put this stuff into func toggle pause, right? We're gonna put this into a little helper, and this is basically the same as here, right? I guess. We just have y. What's cannot get return value of action press because it. I'm pretty sure that's action. This will simulate the, oh, okay. Get action strengths input. So this simulates the pressing. That's not getting the. Is action just pressed? Is action just pressed? Right? My bad. So I can pause and unpause, but I also can press the P key to pause and unpause, right? Which is helpful. This was too easy. This was too easy. But we got a lot done. I mean, the UI in Unity will be not that easy. Explosion incoming. Yay, baby. This is not too bad. I probably want to expand this to be a real toggle button with the... Should we do this today? Should we do this today? It basically means I have two elements over each other, right? So, oh, shall we go? Shall we go there? I'm not sure I want to go there. Can we actually? Can we actually? Can we add an alpha channel? Can we? I think that's an exercise for next time. But what I actually want to do is I want to create our own custom toggle button that basically has two buttons that crossfade. So we don't need any of this. So we just need a texture. And then we probably so. Right, so I have a control here. I just have a control. And let's say that is our toggle button, right? And what we could do is we could just add texture buttons. Probably could just add a texture rect, right? And call this A, and then duplicate this and call this B, right? And then the texture rec A had, let's actually, right, let's use sound on and sound off as an example. Right, I want to focus on this. So that, and then I just toggle the visibility, right? But I want to crossfade between them. So what I would probably do is I would have transparency, right? So I guess I need a material for that. Oh, so we have a blend mode. I'm pretty sure that's not what we wanted. So what if this is a shader material, right? And then we had a shader here. Shader, canvas item, default. Right, and then we just allow setting the alpha for that shader. Right, so we just set that on B. Not sure how this will render, right? So this, why is this, wait, B, right? B has this material, which has this custom shader, which just does nothing. This is going too deep for today. I'm not gonna open that can of worms, but so what's a canvas item shader? So I mean, the shading language is similar to GLESL. What's the output? We probably need to output a vec4, right? Varyings is to send data from vertex to fragment. We pass through the alpha. Uniforms. So we probably have a uniform. Can we go back to the start and search for uniform? Precision, constants, like uniforms, okay. Passing values to shaders is possible. These are global to the shader and are called to the whole. I probably want this to be swizzling precision arrays. Now we're learning about shaders in Godot, operators. I mean, all of this is pretty clear. Functions. Bearings. To send data from the vertex to the fragment. Yeah. Interpolation, uniforms. Can I send... per instance uniforms are only available in spatial shaders. It's built-ins. Time, pi, tau. Oh, global time is nice. Vertex built-ins. What are fragment built-ins? We have the color. We could just display a sprite 2D instead. And then we don't have to, we could try, maybe you get away without a shader, right? What if we just add a child node sprite 2D, right? And that sprite 2D had the off texture. Ignoring the placement, right? Ignoring the placement for the moment. I mean, that would have been so nice. Right, so we can do this, and the sprite can have an animation. Okay, same problem. So what I would like is like an override for the color. Okay, since sprite doesn't solve it, I want to stick with these, right? And then attach a script to the toggle button that blurps the alpha between the two. I think that's... How do I... And Godot pass alpha to shader per texture. Per texture? No. I mean, this is... $7 months ago. Okay, so that's something to, but that's the basic idea, right? That's the basic idea. Just have the code toggle between these two and do a crossfade instead of changing the texture, because then both could have like hover states and all of that. I think that would make life easier. But for today, I'm gonna delete this. Where did our shader end up in? Where's our shader? There's our shader. Oh. Oh, okay. I thought I just deleted everything. Whoa. I'm gonna remove that coin now. You had your chance to play with it. It's gone. Bye-bye. You have to play the game for real now. So, wow. At hot with coin and distance info. And Godot pause button. Let's call it pause menu, right? The next on the list is settings anyway. So, and settings is going to be interesting, but it just opens a new pop-up, right? So I'm not sure how to handle that if you want that handled dynamically. Funnily enough, the pause button is only visible when you play, but I sing. So I want this panel with the name and the version and the two buttons. The Godot fade in UI. That has to be possible, right? A canvas modulate node. Canvas modulate node. What's that? What is that? Main. Canvas modulate node. Oh, look. And that means we can fade stuff in, right? I'm not sure. Wait. That is modulating everything. Maybe there's a control node that container. Interesting point, but that's basically what I want, but only for the children of that, not for the whole thing, right? So to a canvas. No, not today. Let's see if we broke anything, or if it's still working. Oh, the initial state is not correct, right? The initial state is not correct. We could fix this in editor, but I actually want to... That's better. Probably it should check the game if we accidentally start paused, but we could animate it in and out instead of fading it, but we need the fade for the other menus, so I want to do the fade next. But getting distracted here. Wow, that was I didn't feel like it today, but we stage this, we set the effect to none, which is the default, right? So we set the coin value to 0, which is the default. Same here. Same here. We extended the pickup for the target velocity work and is magnetic to temporarily disable it. We added the tiny debug button. We added the tiny debug button and made the panel smaller. Well, the thingy smaller. we matched the offset to match the old game. We added the helpers for the area to D for the despawning area, so it's kind of a bit more visual, right? We added the coin rain and the distance stuff, distance, pickup effect, rain and explosion, 2 different ways of doing it, and we clean up on the respawn. We added some resources. We added our theme. I want to add the fonts, right? We added the HUD script, the in-game menu, the pause menu. I added the stream overlay with the theme. Yeah, we all added a ton of buttons. It's just textures I'm adding, right? And that's it. Well, that's it. I think we're getting ready. Did I mention that my Steam account, after 6 years, finally they said, yeah, your papers are in order, but you have to pay us because you paid it 6 years ago, and that's long ago. And rain and explosion. Pickup effect to Godot. Right. Add HUD to Godot. And add in-game pause to Godot. I dread the day when we have to go back to Unity and do UI there. I'm pretty sure it won't be that easy. Commit, rebase. Please let me rebase and push. Yay! As usual, everything on GitHub for you to follow along. Yes, the latest commit is here. Right, we just did this, and we're getting an automatic build. So while this is running, I'm gonna play around a fish. Let's see how many coins I can get in 60 seconds. Should there be a timer? Maybe. Should this debug menu be tweakable? Yes. So coins, pling, pling, pling. Rain, rain, rain. Ah, rain. Rain, more rain. No. Bling, 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 bling. Yay. Is that it? Okay, let's say how many coins can I get in the first 100 meters? Well, actually, how many coins can I get? 167. Okay, let's kill. And that kill needs to be faster. I mean, that kill needs to be tied to the pop-up that shows you the result of the run. So, how many coins can I get till the end of zone 1? Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. And I guess it counts when we, okay. Let's swipe up, right? Okay, we're getting all of these. Explosion, explosion, explosion. Yeah, and this is the end of zone 1. 149 coins. Not bad. I mean, it's a bit luck-based now because of the... What does the rain spawn, right? I really want a rain in the first zone. 149. That's a lot of coins, but the prices will be steep for upgrades. So, can I do more than 149 if I'm lucky with the explosion? And I'm not. Oh, 158. Not bad. So, let's see what... Oh, done. Done. Build works. You cannot play this yet. Weekend coming up. I want to do at least one stream on the weekend. So I mean, the nice thing now is we can swim. We can swim to a nice place. Let's say somewhere here before we collect the first coins, right? We pause here. And I can say goodbye here. Isn't that nice? Ah, this is coming along so nice. We're gonna launch Fiiish on Steam and do an update to iOS and tvOS and iPadOS and macOS and Linux and Windows, and maybe we do an Android version this time. But the paperwork for Android was so abysmal. In any case, it was a pleasure of having you here. We made good progress today. We made amazing progress today, and I'm not sure what's wrong with the autofocus of the camera. Let's ignore that. We made really, really good progress today. I'll see you in 2 or 3 days. Stay safe and play some Fiiish.